Hi, it's Jo from Minerva. Today I'm going to do a quick learn to sew tutorial with you on how to make bias binding. You'll need bias binding to enclose raw edges. Sometimes it's used on armholes or around a neck, and also for quilting and home projects. If you make bias binding, you will be cutting your fabric on the 45-degree cross grain, which means that you're cutting across the weave of the fabric and you'll get a little bit of stretch. If you don't cut on the stretch because you're trying to save fabric, then you won't get bias binding. You will get a binding that when you take it round a corner will be all rucked and all bumpy, and it won't be able to stretch the weave out to get round a corner. An example where you might use bias binding is on the Fifi pyjama set by Tilly and the Buttons. So the armhole edge has a bias binding and the binding runs around the back. And you need a lot of bias for that, and so you use a lot of fabric cutting across the grain. So I'm going to show you two ways on how to make it, so cutting on the 45-degree angle, and also a way that I've only just learnt, which is absolutely fabulous, which is to make bias binding in a continuous spiral strip, and that comes from just one square. To cut bias binding, it's sometimes tempting just to take a strip off the end of your fabric when you've cut out all of your pieces. But to get a 45-degree angle, you need to fold a square and cut your strips here. Or you can cut them going here to get lots of them and then have to join them together. So you'll be taking that whole square of fabric out of your yardage, but you will only be getting quite a few strips that you've got to put together. Otherwise, if we had the whole piece of fabric, to get a really long piece of binding, we would have to fold a really big square, and we would take out loads and loads of our fabric. And you can see here on this layout where you'd be taking a lot of your yardage to get the binding here, or you have to fold the whole thing on the fold and cut lots of it on the bias or not on the bias. So if you just want a small piece of bias binding and you don't want any joins, then this is a great way to do it, because there you would get one continuous piece. Or I can show you another way which uses a square. If you've cut your bias binding on the 45-degree angle, folding your fabric over, you've got plenty of fabric and it's not a problem, then you need to know how to join two pieces, maybe, depending on if you can get the length that you want or not. So when you put the pieces together, you don't put them matching ends together like this. It's tempting to do that, but when you open it out, you will have lost in that area, you will have lost the stretch across there. So what you're going to do is you're going to put them at right angles to each other, which feels weird because it doesn't feel like it's going to turn out to be a straight length of bias if you make this shape, but it will be. So you open out your bias binding, and then again it's all about that 45-degree angle. We're going to draw a line that gives us that 45-degree angle and sew along there. And then when we open it out, I'll show you that we've still got the stretch. And when you've sewn across the end, you can trim that off. And then you still have that amount of stretch, and you can press your seams open at the back like this, and then recrease your seam allowances back into the center, and then all those bits of fabric will all just blend back in if you've got a really nice steamy press. So if you think you're not going to have enough fabric to cut on the 45 degree, then I will show you how to make a continuous binding from a square. My square is 25 centimetres. So if you want to have a go at this, I would try it on a little piece first, just to make sure you get everything lined up. So I've cut a square. It doesn't matter how big your square is, but obviously the bigger that you make it, the longer the bias piece you will get. We're going to cut it from corner to corner. This square is 25 centimetres on each side. And now we've cut the material on the bias, so we've found that bias stretch. And then we're going to put one edge along another edge. We've got right sides together. So you've got one facing up and one facing down. And the key to this whole procedure is to think of a 1/4 inch. Now, I don't normally work in inches, but a 1/4 inch works perfectly for this. And you need to leave a 1/4 inch little triangle each end of your seam line, and you're going to use a 1/4 inch seam throughout. So when I pin this, I will have a 1/4 inch little triangle hanging over each end, and that's really important because when you cut your continuous bias, you need to make allowances for the seams that you make. So I'm going to sew along here at a 1/4 inch. Now you can cut off those little triangles because we don't want too much bulk when we fold the bias into the centre. And you need to press that seam open so that it's nice and flat. Now you're going to use a ruler to add your lines that go across the grain of the fabric. So you need to draw on here your lines. I'm going to do mine quite wide, 2 inches apart, and then we can show you how to turn it into a continuous bias binding. So if you turn your work over and you folded the corners in, you would get a square. But we don't want to have it in strips like that. We want it to be a continuous spiral. So we're going to move those lines so that we have these triangles each end. So my lines are going across now, but now it's going in a spiral so that when we cut it, it will make one long strip. We're going to bring right sides together, but we're going to be remembering that 1/4 inch. So on that line at a 1/4 inch, push your pin through, and it should be hitting your line on the other side. If it isn't, adjust it. And it feels strange because it feels like you're not lining it up properly, but you are. So the line on this side is going that way, but when I flip it over, the line on this line is going that way, and there's a pin intersection at a 1/4 inch, and you're going to carry on doing that on every line so that when you stick the pin through, it hits your line on the other side. It won't be exactly right. The more you do, the better you get at it. And I've got quite a wide bias, so I've got quite a twist on my fabric. If you do a narrower one, you will find it's a bit less. And to pin the end one as well. and sew along that seam and press it the same as you did for the first one. Once you've sewn both seams and pressed them out, you'll have this sort of continuous spiral cylinder. Looks like this, and then we can start to cut along the lines. So follow the lines, and as you get to the join, your lines will hopefully cross over. There's one, it's going straight across. Here's one of my pinned ones, which is pretty good. So from my 25cm square, I have about 2 meters 40, and it's all cut on the bias, but I only used a square of fabric. It's a really great technique, especially if you have got material that you're using that wasn't planned for a project, but then you realised you needed to cut on the bias for a neck binding or for armhole bindings. Next, you need to now press it to the centre and then press your 2 centre pieces so that you've got a binding with all the raw edges enclosed, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so we're going to fold the bias binding in half. I'm just using my silicone fingers because as I touch the fabric it's getting a bit hotter, and I get a little bit of traction with those because they're rubber. And keep moving along. You can sort of finger press it where those folds are, which helps. You can see that because we press them open right from the start, they're very invisible there. And keep moving along for the full length and then fold them into the centre. So I won't do it all. Second stage of pressing is to fold both of those raw edges into the centre. It's a little bit more chunky where you've got a fold, but if you really press rather than just drag your iron along, it will definitely press those down. You can use a little bit of steam, that also helps. And now those two raw edges will be hidden in the centre. If you're finding it's a little bit tricky to keep your folds in, you can always use a bias binding maker. So you can just catch your fabric and it will do the folds for you. So you just need to make sure you've got it started. It's got a little handle on, and as you pull it, your fingers are well away. It's good if you've got a particularly aggressive steamy iron, because you can press and it's completely keeping your fingers away, and it's giving it a sort of light finger press as it comes through. You can see that one isn't springing back at all like when I just did it folding with my fingers. you get a really good fold with that one. You can get them in different sizes. This one is an inch, just under an inch, 7/8 of an inch. And then you can just do the final press with your iron or when you sew. So that's another way to make your bias binding. When you get to the chunkier bits, it will sort of ping out a little bit, but it does keep even those chunky bits nice and folded. If you hang up your bias binding or just leave it in a little pile on the table, it will sort of unfurl a bit. So it's if you wrap it around a piece of card or an old cotton reel, you can keep the folds. That's been overnight and that's stayed now with the folds that I pressed. So that's a good idea to keep it folded as bias binding. And now it's time to sew it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have hours of making matching bias binding to go with all the different fabrics that you choose. Call again soon for another Learn to Sew video.